Afternoon. A very good afternoon to all distinguished colleagues in the 19th National Good Governance webinar series on the Prime Minister's award-winning initiatives. Today's theme is innovations at district level. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome the French civil servants for this webinar. We have two distinguished participants, Ms. Pauline Martin, the Deputy to the Head of the Department for European and International Cooperation, Partnerships and Forecasting, and Ms. Sandra Senisholt, the International Project Manager Department in charge of the European and International Cooperation, Partnerships and Forecasting. They represent the Ministry of Public Sector Transformation and Civil Service of the Republic of France. And we have invited them as part of the Memorandum of Understanding between India and France that envisages exchanges in civil services interactions to present the civil services experience and the transformational reforms that have been undertaken in the government of France. So we appreciate their participation. We thank them for joining us today. And the theme on which the French dignitaries would be speaking are the French civil service transformation policy, and a brief overview is going to be presented. We also have two award winners of the Prime Minister's Awards for Excellence in Public Administration. We have Sri Kundan Kumar, who would be speaking on the Navapravartan Startup Zone Chanpatia of West Champaran, Bihar. And we have Dr. Lakshmi Priya, who would be speaking on Project Sampurna of Bongaigaon in Assam. So without much ado, I will request our dignitaries from France to kindly make the first presentation on the French civil service transformation policy. Thank you. Can we invite Ms. Pauline Martin? Kindly mute yourselves. Collector Jharsuguda, kindly mute yourself. Collector Jharsuguda, please mute yourself. Yes. Can we invite Ms. Pauline Martin, the Deputy to the Head of Department of European and International Cooperation, Government of France, to make the first presentation? Is she there? Ms. Pauline Martin? Ms. Sandra Senisholt?
Sir, their microphone are not unmuted, sir. You have to unmute them.
Kindly unmute your microphone, please. Ms. Pauline Martin, please unmute your microphone. Ms. Pauline Martin. Ms. Pauline Martin, please unmute yourself.
Sir, it is blocked from the administrator side, sir.
Dekho, have we blocked it?
Yes, sir.
Please check. Please check. Akashji, please check. Are you in the web room?
Yes, sir. I'm in the web room, and we have not blocked it, sir. Rest of them can mute and unmute themselves, but I think they might not be able to unmute themselves from their end.
Please reach out. WhatsApp. So, shall we go to the first speaker then? We have a film. Do we have a film? So we can play the film, and then I'll invite Kundan to make the presentation till the French side joins us. Yes.
Service Sadhu's Dasha will prove effective. Through this, without human intervention, end-to-end services were transferred, delivered 74 offices and 798 services to the public digitally through single window. Today, more than 5,000 Seva Sadhus are working efficiently, and till date, more than 2 crores of Karsavas have been successfully distributed.
In September 2020, we identified 2,416 malnourished children in the district by using WHO height to weight growth chart. Out of that, 246 were SAM and 2170 were MAM. Then we started Project Sampurna. We use the concept called positive deviance, wherein if you will upscale a small practice into an entire community practice, then you'll get massive result. So we used 2 of them. One is called Women Empowerment, by enrolling all the mothers in self-help groups so that they were economically empowered and they continued with the journey of providing protein-rich food for their children. And the second is community participation. So the mother of a healthy child will become the buddy of the mother of an unhealthy child.
हम बच्चों का वजन और लंबाई अपने आंगनवाड़ी सेंटर्स पर और उनके घर पर भी नापते हैं। फिर हम MAM या SAM बच्चों को पहचानने के लिए उनके मेजरमेंट को अपने ग्राफ चार्ट के साथ मैच करते हैं।
मेरे बच्चे का वजन नॉर्मल था, इसलिए मुझे बड़ी मदर बनाया गया। पॉम्पी के बच्चे का वजन कम था, मैंने उसे उसके बच्चे का ध्यान रखना सिखाया, खाना खाना और बाकी सारे काम सिखाए। मेरी बच्ची कमजोर थी। बड़ी मदर और मैं साथ मिलकर मेरी बच्ची का ध्यान रखते थे। हमने उसे अच्छे से खाना खिलाया और सारे प्रोविजंस अच्छे से फॉलो किए। अब वो स्वस्थ है। ज्यादातर मैम और सैम बच्चों के माता पिता इकोनॉमिकली वीक थे, इसलिए हमने उन्हें 3 महीने तक दूध और अंडे मुहैया करवाए और फिर उन्हें सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप में ज्वाइन करवाया। फिर जाकर वो लोग लो इंटरेस्ट लोन की मदद से छोटा कारोबार शुरू कर पाए, जिससे वो अपने बच्चों को पूरा पोषण देने लायक पैसे कमाने लगे। इस तरीके से हमारे बच्चों का स्वास्थ्य तेजी से सुधरने लगा। ये बात बताते हुए मुझे बहुत खुशी हो रही है कि 99% बच्चों की हेल्थ में ग्रोथ हो रही है अब।
Developed in the Buddy Mother program with the JET complementary help. Under this, malnourished children were included in the Buddy Mother program. These results resulted in a 95.6% reduction in the rate of malnutrition among children in the target form. Get a version of 90% women through Safe Help Group. Due to COVID-19 and lockdown, the time of confusion came to the fore. The people of the district with Champaran who were working in the country and abroad were returned. Pushed a new drop zone, keeping in the view of efficiency of MCO. Opportunities for livelihood were provided.
2020 में जब लॉकडाउन लगा तो वहाँ पर हम लोग का रोजगार छूट गया।
पूरे कारखाने बंद हो गए थे, फिर हम लोग खाने पर भी मजबूर हो गए थे, कोई वहाँ काम नहीं था।
भविष्य की भी चिंता थी क्योंकि कुछ पता नहीं था आगे क्या होने वाला, ये सभी लोगों के साथ था।
जब वापस आया तो हमने मन में सोचा कि जो काम मैं बनारस में कर रहा था, तो वो काम हम चंपारण में ही क्यों न करें।
सारे श्रमिक जो बाहर से लौट के आए थे प्रवासी मजदूर, उन सबको 26 जून को पहला मीटिंग डीएम ऑफिस में रखा गया था।
बेसिकली 3 फील्ड हम लोगों ने आइडेंटिफाई किए स्किल मैपिंग के बाद, कि टेक्सटाइल एंड अपैरल, उसके बाद फुटवेयर और वुड क्राफ्ट।
बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा से 25 लाख रुपया लोन दिलवाए, जगह भी मिला, बना बनाया शेड भी मिला, जिससे हम अपना यहाँ काम कर रहे हैं।
अब हमें बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है कि मैं वहाँ पर वर्कर था, दूसरे के यहाँ काम करता था, यहाँ मैं अब खुद का अपना काम स्टार्ट किया हूँ।
और आज हम 1 साल के अंदर में 25 लाख रुपया लोन चुकाकर, और आज हम एक मेरे मशीन से आज हम दूसरी मशीन कर लिए हैं।
बाहर से भी कम रेट में यहाँ पर हम लोगों को माल तैयार हो रहा है।
स्टार्टअप जोन चनपटिया आपदा में अवसर की एक कहानी है। इसके साथ ही देखते लोग कामगार से मालिक बन गए।
बहुत खुशी की बात है कि हम अपने परिवार के साथ में और अपने ही जिले में हमें काम करने का मौका मिला।
आत्मनिर्भर भारत, आत्मनिर्भर चंपारण बनेगा।
एक एस्पिरेशंस युवाओं में आया है कि वो भी अपना स्टार्टअप शुरू कर सकते हैं। उद्योग के लिए एक अच्छा इकोसिस्टम यहाँ डेवलप हुआ है। ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस में जो है बहुत ही अच्छी यहाँ पे उपलब्धि हुई है, और यह आत्मनिर्भर भारत की ओर एक सशक्त कदम है।
आज हम आत्मनिर्भर से ही तो हम आगे बढ़े। अगर अपने अंदर विश्वास हो कि हम ये काम कर सकते हैं, तो जरूर हम उस काम को कर देंगे।
The step of the district government to convert disaster into opportunity proved effective. More than 105 industrial heads-up zones. Over 6 crore orders have been received so far. With the help of the Start Zone, thousands of workers also got employment.
Ms. Pauline Martin, are you in the web room? Can you hear us? Ms. Sandra Senicholt, are you in the web room?
Yes, she's there as well.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
So let me extend a warm welcome to both of you. We have invited you to our National Good Governance webinar series. This is an initiative that was commenced under the directions of the Honorable Prime Minister of India to present the success stories in public administration which have received the Prime Minister's awards for excellence in public administration, to be disseminated to a national audience, wherein which the award winners shall come and present their experiences. Today, there are 2 award winners. You've seen the films. Mr. Kundan Kumar, who's the district collector of West Champaran in Bihar, and he has created a startup zone in his district with migrant workers from the COVID-19 pandemic. And it was a massive success story in terms of saving lives, saving jobs, and saving wages. The other success story that we are presenting is from Assam, Project Sampurna, implemented in Bongaigaon district with regard to improved nourishment practices, in which the budding mothers was taken up, wherein a healthy child was paired with a malnourished child so that the mothers could exchange notes. First, we extend a warm and hearty welcome to you under the collaboration between the Government of France and Government of India to share the reforms and the transformation that Government of France has undergone, and so that a larger audience of about all the district collectors across the country can benefit from your experience. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Well, first of all, our apologies for this technical problem at the beginning. We couldn't activate anything, so we were a bit stuck. Thank you for your understanding. We are very, very happy to be there today with Sandra. It is, as you said, sir, a first concrete implementation of our collaboration. We signed a bilateral declaration of intent for the cooperation between France and India in the area of public administration a few weeks ago, and we are very happy to be there today, also as a follow-up to this signing. A big congratulations to the winner. We had indeed the opportunity to listen to the movie, and we are very impressed by all the projects. So really, all our congratulations. We will now start the presentation. The idea was to give you an overview on the reform and the civil service transformation policy in the area of civil service, state civil service, for most of all, you will see it later, in France. I will now start to share the screen. I hope you see it properly and you can see the presentation. So we will start just a first overview on the key numbers which we have as regards French civil service. When we speak about civil service, we speak about all public workers, both permanent and contract staffs. It is 20% of all the jobs in France. And it covers the position in the three branches of the civil service, namely states, local authorities, and public health establishments. We have 5.7 million workers. The majority of them, about 70%, are professional civil servants, which means that they enter the civil service for a career and they build their career among the civil service. But we are also giving more and more space to contract staffs through the year, especially for jobs who cannot be covered by professional civil servants, but also when we need some specific skills, for example, in the area of digital. So contract staffs are today 20% of the jobs. What we call our ID, as I said, we have three branches of the civil service, namely state civil service, territorial civil service, and
the presentation is not moving. Sorry, the presentation is not moving. Okay. You may kindly go full screen. Okay. Yes, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can see it now? Okay, great. Well, I'm sorry, you will see it less.
Yes, can you go into the full screen mode? You can go into the full screen mode, please. Yeah.
I don't know if it will work because it wasn't working before, but I will try again.
No, it's in the full screen. If you can go into the full screen mode, that would be easier. The icon below. The icon below.
And now you can see the next slide.
Yes, we can see the next slide. Please continue.
Okay, great. Okay, so I will come back to the previous one. So now you can see the slide on the ID of the ID card of our civil service. The key employers for us are national education system, because teacher belongs to the state civil service, but we also have the hospitals, municipalities, and our area, especially army, police, justice, economy and finance, etc. Now I'm changing the slide and passing the floor to Sandra.
So I will just briefly present to you our ministry, because we are on the Ministry of Transformation and the Civil Service in France. It's a new structure because it was created in 2020. Before, all the directions I will present to you pre-existed, but they were dispatched in different ministries. So our ministry, Stanislas Guérini, is the Minister for Transformation. And we are today speaking about innovation. So transformation and innovation go together. We are the DGAFP, so the administration side. Our main topic is the civil servants, how to help them to have an interesting career, but Faustine will explain to you how the DGAFP is organized. So I will go to the other direction, that is the DITP. The DITP is for Public Transformation Direction. It's more for users. It goes on other subjects, but it's how to make easier the life of our users. And there's many innovations on how to, for instance, go the nearest possible to the users, to give their advice. Yes?
Ma'am,
Yes.
can you please enable slideshow mode, ma'am?
You can see it now?
Ma'am, we can see the slides, but these are very small, ma'am. If you will enable the slideshow mode, then it will be
Yes.
full screen.
Yes. But when I'm doing the full screen mode, you cannot see when I'm changing the slide. So we have been changing the slide for around 2 minutes, and I think you didn't saw it. What I can suggest is when we are changing the slide, we go in the smaller mode, and then we go in full screen again. It will be make sure for you that we can change the slide. I will pass the floor again to Sandra.
Okay. So I was speaking about users because there is, we say in French, a symmetry of attention. So we want to make sure that our civil servants and our users have their life made easier. And we try to work in the two publics. And after that, we have two other directions: the digital direction that makes all the facilitate all the digital process. For instance, for civil servants, it will be all the tools that we use on our daily work, like some. We have an application named Chapist for communicating easily and confidential information between our teams. And we have for users a platform named France Connect, where the users can go and see many different public service inside this platform. And the CISIR, that is our information system for HR, and this is more connected with the GJFP. Maybe I will just explain to you our ministry roadmap, because our Prime Minister gave us some objectives for the ministry. You see in black, it's the objectives for the other directions, the DITP and DINUM, and in red is the objectives for our directorate. For the DITP, so users at the center, we want to bring public services the closer possible to them. It was I was saying before, and we have France Service, that is different houses, as we name it like that, in the territories that are very close to users to answer to their difficulties, because with digitalization there is sometimes some difficulty to use the digital, and some people are there to help our users to go through this transformation. Make the daily lives of French people easier, simpler is really what we say, the proactive administration. We want to go to them and not to wait them to come to us. So for instance, if they can also help for their children, we were trying to make it's automatic, because we have a number of information that we can use to go to them. And this is our innovating project, because for the moment users should come to us, but now the logic is inverse. We want to encourage experimentation, because we know that everything is not working in the first time. So when we do innovation, we want them to go and try and try in the territories different projects. And if the project is working, then we will try to make it possible in all the territory. We want to continue to report on the implementation of public policy. So we have different tools. We have one tool, the name is Barometer. We can see how the policies are really working on the field. As citizens, we have access to the Barometer, and we have another tool that permits our President of the Republic to see how the public policy are being implemented policy by policy. So this is more general transformation. And for the civil servants, we are doing many transformations. The first of them is about their career. We want them to be attractive. We want them to, we have an employer brand, and we want to show what is to work on the public service. So we are working about them. In fact, we have a program named Fonction Publique Plus. It's Civil Servants Plus, that is trying to answer their needs and to make them happier on their daily life on the civil service. After that, we have a big reform that has been launched some years ago about our senior service, but it's still ongoing, and we are trying to help our managerial our managers to have more tools to drive managerial transformation, because we saw that for our attractiveness, it's very important that the managerial transformation is effective. And the last but not the least, we have ecological transition as well in the world, and we want to be an exemplary state. So we are making many trainings on high level and all the public service, how to make ecological transition through our different services. And it's a matter of attractiveness as well, because if we are exemplary, people want to come to work with us. So it's our roadmap in some words.
Now I will go to the next slide, and we will speak a little more about us, namely the Directorate General for Administration and the Civil Service. We basically are in charge of the definition and the implementation of the civil service policy. It's cover its legal aspect, the social dialogue, the implementation of the policy, and of course support for HR professionals. Why? Because the DGFP isn't working alone. We are working together with HR professionals from the 3 branches of the civil service, who are the one who actually implements the reform which we are building in there. If you can see the little circle on the screen, it all starts basically when we are elaborating a new policy. Usually it's a new law or a new legal framework. When you are elaborating the text, you need to write it, you need to think about its implementation for later and define its modalities. After adopting the text, you need to make it known, and it's part of our job. We need to diffuse it to HR professionals, communicate, discuss it with them, and for that we are coordinating different networks at every level of HR policy, so that HR professionals can be in touch with us and understand the legal framework, but also think about how they will work based on that. After having communicated on the text, you need to promote the best practices for its implementation. So we are not working in a top-down approach. We are also working with HR professionals from the floor, from the services themselves. They are doing many things, so we make sure that what they are doing is known by the others. And for that, we are always using the networks, which I was mentioning earlier, as a way also to discuss between peers. Now, you are never done basically with reform. So when you are done with one, you need to anticipate the future. What will be your need in the future? For that, we are also implementing a forward-looking approach. It's also part of the job which we are doing in our team, because we have 2 legs, basically. We are working in international cooperation and also in forward-looking approach. The idea is always to be innovative in our HR policies. For example, currently we are working on the future of management, and we are also working on the consequences of AI, artificial intelligence, for the civil service, and the way we are working in our teams. And based on this forward-looking approach, you can after anticipate your needs as regard potential new text, and the circle is starting again. So really the DGFP is nothing without HR professionals, without its partners. I will come back to that later, but it's really important, crucial for us. I will now change the slide. I hope you will see it. So what do? We are running a bit out of time, so I won't be long, but we just wanted to mention a few projects or tools which we are developing here. The first one, maybe one of the most important, is the Code of the Civil Service. It's basically the document on which you can find all the legal aspects of the civil service, the laws, decrees, etc. We are also producing social dialogue agreements at the level of the three branches of the civil service, but also of the state civil service. We produce one annual report on the state of the civil service, which is really a core document on which you can find all the data. We produce other reference documents. I may come back to that later if we have time. We are, of course, building partnerships, such as the ones we have been developing with India. We organize events for HR professionals in touch with the private sector, with the research, and I already mentioned our networks. Just a short overview on our partners. We are working together basically with HR professionals from the three branches of the civil service in the ministries, but also in the local authorities and in the health civil service. We are also in touch with a specific structure who are the regional platform for HR policy support. They are really important for us because they are coordinating the HR policy for the civil service at the level of the regions, in touch with every civil servants and HR professional at the level. We also work with trade unions and with external partners, which I already mentioned. Now, if we still have some time, Sandra will give you an overview on our last reforms and on our priorities for the next months.
I will do it very quickly, and then if we have an exchange, we can speak about it if you want. I just wanted to show the last reforms because, as Pauline said, transformation is always ongoing. So, for instance, I will take two of them. National agreements for teleworking, for instance, with the COVID crisis, we saw that we had to imagine the way of working for tomorrow, because now people are more teleworking, and the COVID showed that it was possible to telework. Then we have to manage tools for the managers for working in groups with the teleworking, and it was a national agreement with our trade unions. It was one of the examples I wanted to show to you. And employer brand, we are all working on that. The DGFP has its own, it's choisir le service public, to choose the public sector. And we are going to many places to speak about what we do. And all the ministries have their own, and they explain exactly the work of each ministry during their campaign with their environment. But we have many other transformations, and it's always ongoing. So maybe I will go to the last one because it's the actual transformations. We are trying to make the protection for civil servants really more effective. We want them to be protected in their functions because we had some problems in the last years. And we are trying to take all the health subjects in our daily life, because there is unfortunately many health problems like cancer, and we want to make easier the life of people with disease. And another subject that I mentioned, the Fonction Publique Plus, is that we are trying to make everything easier for civil servants. So it's a big reform, and we have consulted all the civil servants to make this reform possible. And maybe we can come back after if you want in other topics.
Just as a final word for this presentation, the French civil service is really characteristic by the principle of the civil service. Two of them are really important, namely continuity and mutability. It's really what we are doing here at the DGFP. We are keeping what is the identity of our civil service, but adapting it to the changing world, the changing the expectation of users, and also in the expectation of workers. As Sandra said, attractiveness is really the key topic for us. So we try to find the best talents for the civil service to retain them. And one of the key aspects for that is really to work on working conditions, but also on our identity as an employer, especially the meaning of the job, which is really crucial for young people. For a long time, what was the key of the communication of the civil service was, we will give you a job for your lives. It's not working today. What people want is to have fulfilling work with good working condition. And it's really something which is crucial in our roadmap. Many thanks for your attention. Sorry again for the small technical problem. And if you want, we can come back to a few points for the questions.
Thank you very much. We have benefited immensely from listening to this presentation. In fact, we were trying to understand the code of ethics that you have formulated, the state of the civil services that you have suggested, and also the Civil Services Act that Government of France has promulgated in 2019. These are all areas that we have been working on, and in fact, our last State of the Civil Service report came out in 2010, and we are in the process of formulating another report this year. The Code of Ethics is an area that a lot of deliberations went on in the Second Administrative Reforms Commission, as also we've been trying to formulate a separate Code of Ethics. Otherwise, we have conduct rules. So these are areas that are common to us. We look forward to taking this dialogue further in a joint working group that will be convened in the coming days. Considering that we are running short of time, we would not like to take up a Q&A session in this webinar. And I'd like to thank Ms. Pauline Martin and also Ms. Sandra Seneschalt for enlightening us with the areas in which the French civil service is working, and also the reform areas that you have pursued over the last 5 years. Thank you very much. I would request you to stay on in the web room to listen to the other presentations that we have. I'll invite Mr. Kundan Kumar, the District Collector of Purnia, Bihar, to kindly make a presentation on the Navapravartan Startup Zone, Chanpatia, West Champaran District.
Very good afternoon, sir. Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, please continue, Kundanji.
Sir.
Please continue.
Sir, and the slide is clear, sir? It is full.
Yes, your slide is clear. Your slide is fully clear.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
So this photograph reminds us about the global pandemic COVID-19, worst of our times. And I would like to start my presentation with this TOI coverage how the lockdown gave wings to one of India's poorest districts. And I'll focus in my presentation on this how part. And a short answer of this how could be.
बाकी का आप कर लीजिएगा.
Lockdown.
5-7 मिनट और हैं. I have to go to pension and complete करते हैं.
COVID-19 pandemic and the pandemic exodus, and in the solution of that, we provided this Navapravartan Startup Zone. Sir, I want to tell this thing that Navapravartan is the Hindi of innovation. And this is you can say that this is an innovative startup zone, which we started in during the COVID-19. So this is a story of becoming this Majdoor se Malik banne ka safar, from a worker to owner. It's a story of Aapda mein Avsar, and it's a story of Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-sufficient India. So when the COVID-19 outbreak took place, there were multiple challenges for district administration which were never seen, never heard, like imposing lockdown, ensuring supply of essential items, managing panic calls from all other parts of India. So all these things were there. And in between, special trains started to coming to our district, and more than 80,000 people returned back from various industrial areas of India, like Surat, Ludhiana, Amritsar, Mumbai, and other parts. We had to screen them at the platform and bring them to various quarantine camps and put them for 14 days. So this was the story. There was so many logistics involved in that. And this number were growing very fast. So more than 80,000 people, about 1 lakh people returned back from various parts of India. And when they were coming back, we were thinking that they are simply laborers, unskilled laborers. But this was the transformative part. This was the turning point. When we visited one quarantine camp at the Manjholia block, and we realized, talking to all these people, returnees, we realized they are highly skilled. They are having knowledge of latest technology. They are having knowledge of market linkage and they were the backbone of their industry and their production units wherever they were working. So we thought, why not to start all these production units here? Why not to give job to this place only? So we told them that make a plan to start production units here only. We took the contact details of all the owners and we requested them to shift the job work or shift the production unit in my district. And one more important thing was that since the people were only for 14 days, we formed Udyami Mitra Mandal out of these migrants who were staying at each quarantine camp, and 8 to 10 people formed this Udyami Mitra Mandal. Two purposes was there. First, just to get in touch with them because after 14 days they had to go. And second thing, they had to plan this, how to start production units here. So after visiting that, we started one extensive skill mapping exercise in all the quarantine camps. And we came up with this solution that textile and apparel, leather and food, woodcraft, these three fields are very important because maximum returnees were from these three fields. Then we started meeting with them and we requested again for the strategy to start the production unit here only. We started the confidence building measure because they were returning back from industrial area and a place, a district where there were no any industry. There was confidence gap. So we started assuring them for every support from the government side and the administration. And one of the innovative thing was, sir, like single window system, we started single point of contact, spoke. So each and every officer of district administration was made a spoke of each and every Udyami who was interested to start their startup there. One more important point is idea implementation paradox. We do have many ideas, but implementation is very tough at the field level. And for that, we need a robust team. So first of all, we created a very good team. We tackled the naysayers because everywhere naysayers are there, sir. And picking the believers, we picked up the believers and started this journey. So this they presented this their products which they brought from all these locations, and this given a boost to our confidence. Yes, they are very skilled and the products were very cheaper and very good quality. Then we started virtual meeting with experts, how to start those production units. The major problem was financing because no bank was interested to give loan to these returnees because they were laborers, they were the person who were not having very good financial backups. And as you can see in this photograph, so this was the peak of the COVID-19 when we were using 2 masks, gloves and everything. And in those scenarios, we were working for this whole mission. So we started weekly meeting with banks, Udyamis and spokes. And this was in the mission mode. The event was in mission mode. And we started one more important thing, loan melas, Rin Mela, on each 15 days, so that we can provide them loans from the bank side at the stipulated time in a very short span of 15 days. Then came this major point that where to start. So we come up with this concept of plug and play, and about 25 acres of land, there were so many unused silos or warehouses of SFC, state SFC, and very big these silos. So we started creating this plug and play model, sir. And this was beneficial because the ancillary units could be placed there at the same location. We provided electricity and all other amenities. And now the success story right now is about 52 such plug and play setup is in Bihar, and more than 25 lakh square feet area is given to all the industry people who are coming back. So this is the location of startup zone. As you can see, this is 90,000 square feet area. We started partitioning them, setting up in a startup zone. Then this was the major thing, which was really a commendable thing that this amidst that COVID-19, so people started their shifting their production unit from various industrial area to West Champaran. As you can see this in this example, in this photograph, This is a computer-aided embroidery machine. This is being shifted from Surat to West Champaran. This is from Ludhiana to West Champaran. And these equipments are being imported from Japan and Taiwan and China. This is the first machine which were brought from Japan. So this is about 20 to 25 feet long machine. And for that, we hired a big crane also, and we requested railways to give us, and the journey began from there. So all these machines are imported machines, computer-aided advanced embroidery machines for bulk production model. As you can see, all these machines are being imported, and during the COVID only. This is computer-aided and advanced machine. This is also a CAD-enabled machine. So now this setting up, we started this setting up process. These are the equipments which were imported. So this was the bulk production model where the costs were very cheaper and the manufacturing time is very lower. As you can see, these are the Kashmiri shawls. This logo designing machine is from Japan. All these equipments and machines. This is woolen machines. This is a very good example, sir. So few people returned back from Banaras and they started manufacturing Banarsi sari and sending it to Banaras. So that was a very good story where they were manufacturing the Banarsi sari and sending it to Banaras. Apart from that, all these machines and equipments. I'll show you one interesting because this reflects the skill level of that. This is a laser operated jeans machine, sir, where they are even not using a single scissor and they are making this. Everything is being done by other one is the computer-aided manufacturing machines. These are the saris being designed and manufactured. So about 70,000 Kashmiri shawls were manufactured and sent from West Champaran to Kashmir, sir. And from there, they have been exported to other countries. So all these equipments were there. Now coming to the service center, because I'm showing you the complete ecosystem, innovative ecosystem. So all these people, about 20 technicians returned back during the COVID. They made this service center and they are bringing the spare parts and equipment. They are also taking the equipments. One important thing I want to highlight, sir, this person who is known as Om Prakash, he's only 6th class pass. I asked him, whenever you go to Japan or China to bring equipments, how do you communicate with them? So he told that I write on Google Translate in Hindi and convert it into Japanese or Chinese, and they convert it into Hindi. And so we communicate. So where there is a will, there is a way, sir. So now these are the products. As you can see, the packaging and branding is very good. All the barcoding and everything, rate chart is very nice, and it is a very cheaper rate. All these products are being manufactured there. Is digital cataloging and everything is being done there. All these things. And apart from the textile and apparel, sanitary pads, footwear, cricket bat, dustbin, stainless steel, e-rickshaw, everything is being manufactured in this 25 acres of startup zone. So as you can see, these people return back from Vallabhgarh and they are manufacturing footwears. These are the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan e-rickshaw. It is also being manufactured there. So these are the dustbins for municipalities. So paver blocks, bamboo, stainless steel. This is very interesting. The people returned back from Anantnag of Kashmir. So they started manufacturing this cricket bat. And as you can see, this is WC brand, West Champaran brand. Our IS professional designed it. Sanitary napkins. Honorable Chief Minister Sri Nitish Kumar ji visited on 31st December of 2020 and then he directed to replicate it in entire state. And now it has a very good impact on the industrial landscape of Bihar. And recently in December, we are going to have our Global Investors Summit also, sir. So all this, there is an example, this Champaran ne dikhaya kaise Atmanirbhar banega Bharat, all these coverages, sir. And about the total turnover of these returnees are now 35 crores, more than 35 crores, sir. About 59 startups are inside the startup zone. And apart from that, about 150 startups are outside the startup zone in the district. About 5,000 jackets we sent to Spain, 42,000 tracksuits to Ladakh, 70,000 Kashmiri shawl to Kashmir, and Malaysia and other parts of the world. Sir, we got this prestigious PM award, sir. Apart from that, sir, the real award is the lives we are transforming. For example, sir, this is Archana ji, sir. She returned back from Surat and she started her startup. And then we saw this video, sir. And recently she sent me this photograph in the car showroom and she is purchasing the car, sir. She was a majdoor, she was a worker. Now she is a very good, she's an owner and giving around job to around 30 to 35%, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Kundan, for a wonderful presentation. Now I'll request Ms. Lakshmi Priya for her presentation, Sampurna in Bongaigaon, Assam. Is she connected?
Ma'am is just coming, sir.
Okay, okay. In the meanwhile, we have time. We can have 1 or 2 questions. Question from Kundan Kumar. Yes.
कुंदन जी नमस्कार। अभी उनको ऑर्डर कहाँ से मिलते हैं, मार्केट कहाँ से मिल रहा है इन लोग को आपका?
मैम अभी उनका ऑर्डर बहुत अच्छा है मैम, क्योंकि वेस्ट चंपारण नेपाल के बॉर्डर पे है मैम। तो नेपाल में पहले मैम ज्यादातर सामान चाइना से आया करता था, अभी यहाँ से बहुत बड़ी संख्या में मैम जा रहा है नेपाल में, क्योंकि एकदम बिल्कुल बॉर्डर पे है। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट मैम भूटान से भी आ रहा है और इंडिया के अदर पार्ट से भी आ रहा है, क्योंकि मैम जनरली ये पूरा यूपी, बिहार, वेस्ट बंगाल और नॉर्थ ईस्ट में जो टोटल उड़ीसा भी, ये ऑर्डर जो है वो लुधियाना और सूरत वगैरह से आया करता था मैम। तो अभी वो स्टार्टअप जोन से सभी जगह पे जा रहा है और बड़े नंबर्स में जा रहा है। एक और अच्छी चीज ये है कि मैम सूरत, लुधियाना वगैरह से जॉब वर्क भी उनको आ रहा है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल एक व्यक्ति है जो अभी 3500 उन्हें ये जैकेट्स आया हुआ है मैम लुधियाना से बनाने के लिए। एक व्यक्ति है जिन्हें निजामुद्दीन, उनको मैम लगभग 10,000 ट्रैक सूट्स उनको मुंबई से आया हुआ है। तो इस तरह से बहुत सारे ऑर्डर्स आते हैं, ऑर्डर्स काफी हैं उनके पास।
तो आपने जो लोगों ने पर्सनल लोन लिए थे उनमें से लोगों ने लोन टाइमली चुका दिया, उसमें एनपीए वाला आपको नहीं दिखा कुछ लोगों का? क्योंकि
हम लोगों ने पर्सनल लोन में पीएमईजीपी कराया था, जिसमें हमने ये देख रखा था कि महिलाओं का हो ताकि 35% सब्सिडी भी उनको मिल जाए। तो वो तो हुआ ही है मैम, उसमें उसके साथ उन्होंने चुका के उसके बाद अभी नया टॉपअप का भी आ गया है पीएमईजीपी में। तो वो चुकाने के बाद उन्हें ऊपर से भी फिर मिल जा रहा है, जो कि 1 करोड़ तक अब है मैम। इस पूरे स्टोरी में आउट ऑफ 59 एक का एनपीए जा रहा था मैम, लेकिन वो भी उनके पर्सनल अपने घर के रीजन से, लेकिन बाद में वो भी बिल्कुल रिवर्ट बैक करके मैम और अच्छे तरीके से उनका भी चल रहा है। एक व्यक्ति का हो रहा था बट वो भी अब ठीक चल रहा है, तो कोई भी इशू नहीं है, बिकॉज दे आर वेरी स्किल्ड और उनको पता है मार्केट में किस तरीके से सेल करना है।
Okay, thank you, Kundan. So now we have next speaker, Dr. Lakshmi Priya. She is now Mission Director, National Health Mission, Assam. Earlier, she was DC Bongaigaon when this award was given to her. So now I'll request Dr. Lakshmi Priya to give a presentation on her initiative. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to everyone. I hope I am audible. If the presentation could be shared from there.
We will just share. We will share from our side.
Yes, sir.
So now presentation is already uploaded. So I think it is visible to all. Yeah. Please start the presentation.
Now, sir. Yes. So good afternoon to everyone. My name is Dr. Lakshmi Priya. I'm from 2014 IAS batch and I'm from the Assam cadre. So presently, as sir said, I'm working as Mission Director of National Health Mission in the state. When the award was given away, I was working as DC of the district called Bongaigaon in Assam. So primarily my project was about reduction of malnutrition among children. So it was when I joined as DC, it was just before COVID, but the work that we did was just after COVID. So in the district at that time, we had very high numbers, 2,416 malnourished children, out of which 246 were SAM and rest were MAM. And this was in a district which has roughly around 10 lakh population. And Bongaigaon was a district which is located in the banks of the Brahmaputra and is subjected to annual flooding. So it was very challenging for us to do anything. See, any good work that you do over the year, the 9 months will literally get washed away in the 3 months of flood. So severe floods happen for 1 month and the rest, a lot of pre-flood preparedness and post-flood activities. It's a different kind of challenge. So, and Bongaigaon is relatively a rural district, and most of the people depend on agriculture. So this is what the situation was. And when we initially identified that we had this kind of a malnutrition, we were quite worried as to what intervention it is that we could do that would help us. So to cut the long story short, what we did was primarily work on the concept called positive deviance. As you all must have heard sometime in some of the other contexts, positive deviance is the practice of taking up a small practice that is done by a small group of people and try and emulate it in a larger scale. So the famous example that is being quoted for it is when mothers, farmers who are working in the rice paddy field, mothers who identify small crabs, they catch hold of the crabs and cook and feed it to their children. Those children are less likely to be malnourished. So this practice, if you do it for others, then they also turn out to be not malnourished. So this is a commonly used example. What we did was catch hold of the mothers of these children and we made them buddy pairs. Suppose I am a mother. There is another lady whose child is also going to the same Anganwadi and my child is malnourished and her child is healthy. So we are buddy mothers. Now our work is to somehow get my child to be healthy. And then it involves a lot of other activities like educating them and trying to find out what their education knowledge level was pre and post the intervention and so on and so forth. So finally we also put these mothers. We also went ahead and enrolled these mothers in self-help groups so that they could sustain their own self. So as we all understand, since we are all working in the field, we do understand that a lady's life is not as easy as that of a man's. She has no power to decide. We still are in the era of trying and accommodating her rather than she being the decision maker in the household. This is so for the low socioeconomic status people and the high. So to get the lady to take the ownership was our strategy. So I have done only two simple things. One is make buddy mothers, buddy pairs, And second is involve the women in their own economic empowerment by putting them in self-help. These are the only two things that I have done. The rest of it I will explain in the slides quickly. But these are the only basic two things that I have done, and I understand that the ministry itself in their new guidelines have recommended that buddy pairs should be created when the malnutrition is being handled at all levels, all districts and all states. So I am looking forward to seeing this change that will be coming up in the coming years in the country itself. And as officers, as IS officers who are working in the field, this is one of the defining moments that we can have in our career, when something that we started off in our district, not thinking that it itself will be successful, finally ends up giving us the results. Giving us the kind of results that we did not expect, and the team gets the Prime Minister's award for it. But more importantly, more important than any award for that matter, is when our work gets adopted in such ways that it is going to help millions of children who are malnourished in the country. So that way we are, as a team, very, very happy and grateful that our work has been taken up at the national level and into one of these main policy documents that the Ministry of Social Welfare has now come up with. Now I'll quickly run through the slide. I'll request for the next slide, please. So one thing I will give as a piece of advice to the officers who are listening to this: do not venture into doing an intervention without technical support. So I took the technical support of IIT Guwahati because they are technically competent, and I also took the support of another university, Tezpur University in Assam. So if you do go about designing your own projects, there is a possibility of bias. So if you take the expert advice of someone who is always doing it, she or he can advise you accordingly. So this is the structure that I had made. So we used to, if you look at the pyramid, you can see that we used to have Anganwadi worker level meetings, Anganwadi supervisor level committee, CDPO and DSW level. Now, one thing I will tell you, that it is very, very, very strenuous to get a new thing made. In policy also you make, look at the implementation strategies. You don't have any resources. It is over and above your normal work, which is itself taxing. You can imagine the kind of stress we were in during COVID times. But it is, if you want to do it, it is still possible, is what I'm saying. And for the lady officers who are listening to me, at that time when I was doing this, my baby was 1.5 to 2 years old. So you can imagine the kind of challenge that I would have had to cope up with. I'm telling you all this only because I know that if someone would have told me that when I was DC, then it would have been of great help, because it is the same journey that we all go through. So I used to take a weekly meeting only for this, and I used to roam around in the field, very, very, very frequently. Almost every day I used to go anyway, and I used to club it with this work. A lot of people I have personally spoken with, and I had full trust on my team. So please, it's important, find whom you can trust also. So you formulate a decent team who are equally motivated as you are, and try to explain to them why you think this work is important. And at no point of time target the award. Don't target the award. If the work is good, the award will come. Even if it doesn't come, it is all right. So target the work and only the work. So we identified maximum number of malnourished children using WHO growth charts. Earlier on, some other growth chart was used, but now I understand ministry has changed it already. And then we tried and got the buddy mother concept done. Community participation we brought in, because once the women were in self-help groups, we had a large number of women working together. Lot of follow-up. For the first 3 months, I spoke with a lot of large-hearted people in the district and requested them to give eggs and milk for the children. By then, the mothers were involved in the self-help groups, and slowly, slowly, they started taking care of their own children. Can we have the next slide, please? This is in detail, a little bit of detail of what I said. So we had huge growth charts. You can see a small picture, the second picture, one growth chart for the girl child and one for the boy child. And a lot of my teams were in the field. Next, please. We also stuck a timetable, simply to ask the mother to put a tick mark. Did you give rice? Did you give dal? Did you give eggs? Like that. So every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, mother had to put a tick mark. And from then, mothers also realize that you don't want your child to be hungry, so you keep feeding them rice every time they tell you that they are hungry. So there were mothers who ended up feeding their children rice 3 to 4 times a day. So they ended up realizing that rice does not complete the nutritional requirements. So it was a big learning exercise for them as for us. Next, please. And I coordinated with all the departments, health, NRLM and everything. So as a DC, that is the advantage that DCs have, that you don't have to ask anyone else for coordination. So this is the result. I'll leave the slide with all of you just for you to see. If you look at the slide the data on the right side, you can see that after 3 months, 6 months and 1 year, how the numbers have consistently reduced and how more and more mothers were enrolled in the self-help group. Now, an interesting fact I want to tell you all is look at the histogram on the blue histogram on the left side. In September 19, the district had 2,628 malnourished children. We started our work in September 20 when we had 2,416, quite comparable to 2019, right? But if you look at September 21, the newly identified malnourished children is only 1,178. And I attribute it to the huge awareness that was created. And once again, in December 21, the number was only 327. Again, further reduced to 191 new cases in January 22. So I left the district soon after this award was given in 21. But the next year also, the number of malnourished children in Bongaigaon have been less than other districts. So friends, it's also important that you don't be so self-centered to think that what you can do, you will do, and you don't know what the next person will do. It is, we as individuals are really unimportant. I'm sure in your career you already realized that. If not, you will realize in no time that as people, as officers, we are least important. We are most dispensable. What you should try to do is retain the system that you are making in such a way that they outlive us. That way, I'm happy that this work is ongoing now also. Next, please. Next, please. So this slide I have just put so that officers who are aiming for awards do their documentation well. So I have a huge set of documentation. I just put one slide at that time, and I retained it so that you all can have a look at it. So I know every Anganwadi wise data. And for Prime Minister's Awards, they sent many teams to the field and they verify if you have done the right thing and all. That my friend Kundan sir, who spoke before me, is more experienced and than me in this aspect. So he knows it much better. But my 2 cents is that you please keep all the data ready, not only for the award, but for yourself also, so you know what you're doing. Next, please. So this is just to inspire all of you that you cut me out, it can be you there. Just to show that. Next, please. Next slide, please. So our Chief Minister and our Minister for Social Welfare had extended complete support to us. This is before the Prime Minister's Award itself. And the gentleman you're seeing standing next to the Chief Minister was my local MLA, who was in 100% support of the project. So a little bit of, I won't say advice, but sharing my experience is that when a good thing has to happen, it's most easy if everyone works together. So you should try and put all efforts to explain to the political bosses as to what it is that you want to do. Who knows, they might support you. If they do, it's going to be much easier for you. Either way, you have to do the good work. And in the second picture is my chief secretary receiving a copy of a report that we had come up with from our honorable chief minister. And the picture of the boy in the right corner, the right up corner, is a real picture of a boy who was ma'am. He turned out well after that. Next, please. Next slide, please. So this is one activity I was blessed enough to do because I was requested to write a piece on it in the editorial of the Hindu about the program that I was able to do. So that kind of propagates the idea that something like this is quite possible. So that also helped. Well, you should not target it, but if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't come, it's just all right. Next, please. So that's the last slide. So that's it from my side. I'm wishing everybody all the best, and I'm sure all the good work that you're doing is going to come out to the limelight sooner than later. And the ARPG is always supportive of all the good initiatives that we are doing, starting from Srinivas sir to Rajput sir and the entire team. They are very, very cordial and supportive. So I'm sure that we will, in the coming days, sir, we'll have a lot of good projects for which, if in any case my support is needed as an officer or in the capacity that I am in now, I'll be very happy to extend. Thus, thank you very much. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Dr. Lakshmi Priya. So in today's webinar series, we had the theme innovation at district level. We had two presentations, one from Kundan Kumar on Nav Parvatan Startup Zone in Chanpatia, West Champaran district of Bihar. Second, we had Mission Sampurna in Bongaigaon, Assam from Dr. Lakshmi Priya. Today, we had a wonderful presentation from Republic of France, Miss Pauline Martin and Miss Sandra Sanchot. They had given a presentation. So I thank Republic of France also for giving a presentation on administrative reforms in France. So I thank the entire team of DRPG, all the field officers, all the district collectors who were online. Thank you for this today's session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.